Well, it finally happened. After 8 seasons, Showtime's Dexter has finally come to an end. The final episode aired this past Sunday, September 22nd, 2013. The fan reactions that have been put up online have been generally negative, and many have stated that the show itself jumped the shark after the ending of the 4th season. Today, I'm going to throw in my 2 cents worth. Keep in mind that there are major spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the show up until the end, then what the hell are you doing watching this video? I disagree with the statement that the show jumped the shark at the end of Season 4, although I do think that Season 4 was the show's strongest season, largely due to the presence of the great John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer. The following seasons had a tough time living up to the level of quality presented in Season 4, but I think that overall they were pretty solid. The most interesting part of the entire series, in my opinion, is Dexter's story arc. At the beginning of the series, Dexter's portrayed as an unfeeling sociopath, who acts in a certain way in order to fit into society and avoid suspicion regarding his true nature. As the show progresses, Dexter begins to realize that he is developing true feelings and attachments towards his friends and family, and by the final season, he's ready to give up his double life and dedicate himself to his family, after he rids the world of Season 8's big bad, Oliver Saxon. Now, I'm not going to rehash the plot of Season 8, because if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you've seen it already. I just want to give my thoughts on what many thought was a terrible finale to the series. Personally, I was quite satisfied with the ending of the show, but I would like to touch on a couple of the elements that people seem to have the most problems with. Issue number 1, the death of Deborah. This one made me sad, as I always liked the character of Deb. In my opinion, she added a lot of color and personality to the show. The last episode sees her in a vegetative state after being shot by Oliver Saxon. The doctors have told Dexter and her co-workers that she's brain dead and she'll never again be conscious or alert. So Dexter, out of mercy, pulls the plug and takes her body out to his boat, unnoticed by anyone due to the chaos created by the incoming storm. Deborah is Dexter's final victim, and he gives her a burial at sea, the same as he does his other victims. Rather than garbage bags holding a dismembered corpse, Dexter wraps her in a white shroud, and she actually looks quite angelic as she descends into the depths. As sad as it was to see Deb go, her death was necessary from a narrative standpoint. It had to happen. Just ask Jennifer Carpenter.
I mean, I'm going to treat it like you're asking me if I want her or wanted her to die. I meant what I said. I wanted her and want her to die.
Losing Deb is a direct consequence of Dexter's past transgressions. A major complaint about this scene is that it was anticlimactic and lacked the emotion that the death of such a major character deserved. I agree that it seemed a bit rushed, but on the other hand, that's the way death is sometimes. Sometimes we lose people, and we don't get the chance for a proper goodbye. Issue number 2, the killing of Oliver Saxon. We all knew that this was going to happen in the final episode, and I'd envisioned Saxon on Dexter's table, so it was a nice surprise that he was dispatched in a way that was not quite expected. My problem comes with the fact that he kills Saxon in plain view of Batista and Quinn, and that the killing is recorded. Dexter's co-workers turn an extreme blind eye to this killing and call it self-defense. This is very far-fetched, and I think Dexter's co-workers would have a few more questions. Now, I'm no expert in matters of the law, but I think that this goes beyond self-defense. He just stuck a pin into that guy's neck in the middle of the police station and walked away. Note the expression on the faces of Quinn and Batista. This is the first time they've caught a glimpse of Dexter's capacity for violence. Keep in mind that we, the audience, are very familiar with Dexter's violent side, but most of the people in his life see him as a meek, mild-mannered individual. Issue 3, and this is the big one, this.
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day.
He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day.
Honestly, I don't see why people are so mad about this one. I realize that the fact that he faked his death in the storm is cliche, but I'm glad he didn't die at the end of the series. Personally, I thought the lumberjack ending was fitting. Dexter has moved to Oregon and is working at a lumber camp under an assumed identity. The final shot is short, simple, and very tragic. Dexter is shown finishing his extremely tough job and returning home to a very sparsely furnished apartment, and just looking into the camera with such sadness that the audience can feel it. There's no theme music, nor is there any voiceover from Dexter. Dexter has entered self-imposed exile. Everyone he knew in Miami thinks he's dead, as do Hannah and Harrison. After looking at some reactions via Google, this final sequence seems to be the thing that is stuck in many fans' craw. I look at it this way. After any piece of fiction ends, what happens next in the characters' lives is up to the imagination of the viewers. I doubt that there will be any continuation of Dexter, but there have been rumors of a spin-off series. For the most part, spin-offs are usually awful, so I hope they don't do one in this case. We the fans can only wonder what will become of Dexter. Will he spend the rest of his days in a lumber camp? Will he ever try to contact Hannah and Harrison? We will probably never know. So these are my thoughts on the finale of Dexter. Despite some issues, I think the show managed to stay strong over its 8-season run, and I'm sad to see it go. But, that being said, I look forward to getting into more shows of this caliber. This coming Sunday marks the finale of another great show, Breaking Bad. Tune in next week to hear my thoughts.